There's something inside you right now silent, yet pulsing with strength. Maybe you haven't noticed it. Maybe it just feels like tiredness, lack of motivation, a faint heaviness in the air, but something is happening. An invisible field of energy vibrates within and around your body. It's what shapes the way you think, feel, and see the world. I call it the invisible energy code. It isn't new. It's been inside you since the very first breath you ever took. But over time, it's been buried under worry, under hurry, under disconnection. The good news is this code can be reactivated. And when it is, everything changes. The body awakens. The mind clears. The heart expands. You start to see life through the eyes of someone who has finally come home. Most people spend their entire lives searching for answers outside themselves in books, in courses, in methods, never realizing that the key has always been right here, quietly vibrating within. It's not something you need to learn. It's something you need to remember. And that remembrance begins now in this very moment, as you hear my voice and something within you starts to respond to these words. The simple fact that you're here is already a sign that part of your energetic field has begun to move. The frequency of awakening responds to attention. And when you give attention to your own energy, it answers back. Before I show you how to activate this code in just 60 seconds, I want you to understand something essential. All energy obeys consciousness. Consciousness is the invisible conductor directing the vibrational field of every being. That means that to raise your frequency, you don't need to force, fight, or try to change anything in the external world. You simply need to adjust how you're connecting to yourself. It's an inner movement, subtle, yet incredibly powerful. Maybe you've already felt it in moments of silence when time seems to stop and everything becomes light. That's your energetic field aligning itself, returning to the natural rhythm of the universe. Science still struggles to describe what ancient traditions have known for thousands of years. Everything is energy. Thought is energy. Emotion is energy. The body is a vibrational instrument translating the invisible symphony of consciousness. When that symphony is out of tune, you feel it as fatigue, confusion, or anxiety. But when it returns to harmony, the entire world changes around you as if reality instantly responds to the new music you've begun to play. Now imagine for a moment that you could access that elevated frequency anytime you wished. Imagine being able to shift your energetic state in just 1 minute. That's exactly what I'm about to guide you through. This isn't magic, it's awareness. It's remembering the power that has always been there. The invisible energy code is a silent language connecting every cell of your body to the intelligence of the cosmos. When you awaken it, you realize you were never separate from anything. But before revealing the technique, I need to prepare you. There's a reason why most people can't sustain a high vibration for long. They try to change their energy without changing their focus. They want to feel good, but keep feeding thoughts that drain their life force. They want peace, yet stay trapped in the frequency of fear. The secret lies in changing the frequency first and letting emotion, body, and mind adjust afterward. It's the opposite of what we were taught. That's why the first step is simple. Bring your attention to the now. Attention is the master key to the energetic field. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, reality begins to transform. So right now, in this very instant, bring your awareness inward. Feel the air entering your nostrils and filling your chest. Notice the subtle vibration running through your body. Don't force anything, just observe. You've already begun the process. The silence between one thought and the next, that's the portal. That's where the invisible energy code reveals itself. The rational mind tries to understand, to measure, to control, but this code can't be decoded through logic. It activates through presence. The more present you are, the clearer the frequency becomes. It's like tuning into a radio station that's always been broadcasting, but all you used to hear was static. Now, the sound begins to clear crystalline, alive, and you realize there's always been a song playing inside you. The entire universe vibrates in different tones of that same melody. Every star, every being, every thought, all are part of the same cosmic harmony. And when you learn to vibrate in tune with that universal song, you feel such a deep alignment that no external circumstance can shake you. That's the natural state of the awakened being. Centered, luminous, connected. Now that you understand the principle, you're ready to experience the activation. In the next few minutes, it'll guide you through a simple 60-second practice, a small ritual that's profoundly transformative because it works directly at the meeting point between consciousness and energy. During that 1 minute, you want to imagine you'll awaken the code. But first, take a deep breath, not just with your lungs, but with your heart. Inhale as if you're opening yourself to the universe. Exhale as if you're releasing the weight of every story that no longer serves you. Every breath is a restart, a chance to return to your natural state of vibrational purity. The code reveals itself through surrender. When you release control, even for an instant, you allow energy to guide you. It's in that conscious act of letting go that awakening happens. You don't have to force anything, just remember to feel. Feeling is the original language of the soul. Now that your body feels lighter and your mind is silent, notice something. Energy is never still. Even when you feel stuck, there's an invisible movement happening within you. Every cell vibrates. Every atom dances. And what you call life is simply the choreography of that dance. When you learn to observe the movement without trying to control it, energy begins to reorganize itself and the code awakens. What I'm about to teach you is simple. But don't mistake simplicity for lack of power. Truth always manifests through subtle gestures. For the next 60 seconds, I want you to direct your attention to the center of your chest, the point where your breath is born. This is the oldest portal in the human body. It's the point where the soul touches the flesh. When consciousness rests there, the entire energetic system begins to align. So, close the eyes of the mind and open the eyes of presence. Bring your awareness to that center, as if you were lighting a small inner flame. And now just observe. You're not trying to feel anything, allow yourself to feel what's already there. Slowly, you'll begin to sense a subtle vibration, a gentle warmth, a faint pulsing. That's the field activating. Energy responds to observation, and the more you watch without interference, the more it reveals itself. In these seconds, something begins to shift. The air feels denser, more alive. The body, once heavy, now seems afloat. There's a silence full of sound of stillness that hums. This is the point where the invisible energy code begins to manifest. No words, no effort, only presence. What you're feeling is the same force that moves the tides, that spins the planets, that makes your heart beat. It's the intelligence of the universe within you. Now, as you keep your focus on that center, imagine a light expanding from there, slow but steady. With every breath, it grows, filling your chest, your shoulders, your arms, until it reaches your whole body. This light is the visible translation of pure energy. It's not something you create, it's something you remember. And when that memory ignites, everything that was once blocked begins to dissolve. Pain loses its meaning. Fear loses its shape. The past loses its weight. Only the now remains. Maybe, in this very moment, you feel a light shiver, an unexplainable emotion, maybe a desire to cry or to smile. Let it come. That's ancient energy being released. The energetic body is adjusting itself. Everything you've been, every belief, every version of you begins to reorganize in a new frequency. This is the beginning of reconfiguration. The code has been activated. But now comes the first turning point, and it's crucial. True awakening isn't about feeling the energy only in moments like this. It's about maintaining that vibration, even when the outside world tries to pull you back into noise. It's easy to connect in silence. The challenge is to remain awake in chaos. That's where many give up. They mistake awakening for an event, when in truth, it's a state. What makes this activation last is what you choose to feed with your attention afterward. And here, the invisible code reveals its second layer. Every time you choose to observe instead of react, you're strengthening the field. Every time you choose to breathe instead of giving in to the impulse, the code grows stronger. It's a cumulative process. Energy isn't just an experience, it's a training of consciousness. You probably noticed. The more you try to control the world, the more it slips through your hands. But when you let go, the universe begins to realign itself on its own. That's the language of the field. It doesn't respond to force, it responds to harmony. So the activation you just felt is only the beginning. Awakening is continuous because life never stops moving. The second secret lies in what I call vibrational return. When you awaken energy within yourself, it doesn't only rise, it also brings things back. Everything that was once suppressed in your field, emotions you avoided, memories you silenced, dreams you buried, all of it starts to surface. Not as punishment, but as purification. Energy doesn't lie. It reveals. And when it begins to move, it exposes what was hidden. That's why, after an activation, some people feel peace and others feel chaos. Both are signs of awakening. Because the moment you raise your vibration, everything that doesn't match that frequency begins to dissolve, and sometimes the dissolution looks like disorder. You might suddenly feel waves of emotion for no clear reason. You might revisit old memories, face people from your past, or feel your body reacting strangely, heat, tingling, pressure. Don't resist it. It's energy rewriting its own story through you. Every feeling is a message, an echo of something that needed to be seen, acknowledged, and released. When you understand this, you stop running from discomfort. You begin to see that pain isn't a punishment, it's a signal. A light on the dashboard of your soul, saying there's energy here that's ready to return to flow. So the next time your world feels like it's falling apart, remember, nothing real can ever be lost. Only illusions dissolve. The universe never takes anything from you. It only removes what no longer vibrates with who you're becoming. And that's where most people break, because they mistake the purification process for chaos. They resist, they close themselves off, they fight what's being released. But resistance only prolongs the cycle. Surrender shortens it. That's the invisible logic of energy. What you call problems are simply signals from the field saying, something is misaligned. Let's bring it back to truth. Every argument, every emotional wound, every moment of anxiety is energy asking to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. The moment you stop labeling it as good or bad, you free it. Because energy doesn't understand judgment. It understands attention. So hey, raise the key. Whatever you look at with presence transforms. Whatever you ignore stagnates. When you observe your pain without judgment, it softens. When you breathe through the discomfort instead of running from it, it begins to move again. That's vibrational return, the moment when the code begins to clean the system. You don't have to do anything. Your only job is to stay present. The field knows how to heal itself. You just need to stay out of its way. And then something extraordinary happens. You realize that healing was never about fixing anything. It was about remembering who you are beneath all the noise. Every pain you've carried, every scar on your soul, becomes sacred data, a record of your evolution. And when you stop seeing your wounds as mistakes, you begin to see them as maps. Maps that lead you back home. Because the truth is you were never broken. You were just becoming visible. Everything that has ever hurt you was actually trying to wake you up. Every ending was a doorway. Every loss was a redirection. When you start to live from that understanding, fear loses its power over you. Because you realize that even what seems like chaos is still love in disguise. This is the invisible architecture of life. It's not random. It's a coded intelligence that speaks the language of vibration. The moment you align with that rhythm, everything begins to flow differently. People leave, and it no longer hurts the same. Situations shift, and you no longer panic. Because now you know the code. You know that every exit is making space for a higher frequency to enter. Every silence is preparing the next sound. Every void is a seed waiting to be felt. You start to move through life with a quiet confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally understand the pattern behind the imperfection. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting, not because you gave up on your dreams, but because your dreams begin to find you. That's what alignment really is, not control, but coherence, not forcing the river, but becoming the river. You flow, and life flows with you, but the code still is one more layer, the most mysterious, and perhaps the most beautiful of all. It's what I call energetic reflection, and it explains why, even after awakening, the universe continues to send you certain people, experiences, and emotions that seem to test you. They're not tests, they're mirrors, reflections of what's still being refined within you. The universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in reflections. So when life repeats a pattern, It's not because you failed, it's because something inside you asked for a second chance to react differently. It's not punishment. It's a mirror offering you freedom. Every situation you face is a reflection of a frequency you hold. Change the frequency, and the reflection changes by itself. That's how the invisible code becomes visible. Through you, when you begin to live with this awareness, life stops feeling random. Synchronicities multiply. The right people appear at the exact moment. Opportunities seem to come out of nowhere, but you know now, nothing ever really comes out of nowhere. Everything that enters your life is an echo of your vibration. Everything that leaves is an act of energetic mercy. And this realization changes everything. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this showing me? That single shift from victim to observer rewires your entire field. Because when you stop resisting life, life stops resisting you. You finally step out of the cycle of reaction and into the flow of creation. And from that place, energy moves differently. You become magnetic. But not in the way social media uses the word not for external attraction or performance. You become magnetic to truth, to alignment, to everything that resonates with your real frequency. And when you live in alignment with truth, you don't chase love, you radiate it. You don't seek purpose, you embody it. You don't fight for peace, you become peace. That's the highest expression of the invisible energy code. It's not about learning to manipulate energy. It's about remembering that you are energy. Everything else is just remembering. When you live from that state, miracles stop being miracles. They become the new normal. Because miracles are simply the natural outcome of coherence. You breathe, and life breathes with you. You act, and the universe responds instantly. There's no separation left, just flow. You start to sense the invisible web connecting everything. The way a thought echoes through space. The way a small act of kindness ripples through time. The way a single vibration can shift an entire reality. You see how energy shapes form, how intention creates movement, how love rearranges the geometry of existence itself. And that's when you realize the code was never out there. It was never hidden in books, temples, or teachers. It was within you all along, encrypted in the rhythm of your breath, in the silence behind your thoughts, in the stillness between one heartbeat and the next. You were never meant to find it. You were meant to remember it, because you are not a being trying to reach energy. You are energy remembering how to be human. And that remembrance, that quiet awakening, is the real revolution. It's not about changing the world by force. It's about changing your frequency until the world around you rearranges itself naturally. You don't fight darkness, you outshine it. You don't destroy the old, you outgrow it. You don't need to convince anyone your vibration does the speaking. And when that happens, you stop living from fear and start living from presence. Every step becomes sacred. Every encounter becomes divine. Every breath becomes a prayer. That's a state the ancients called illumination. Not a flash of light from the outside, but the gentle dawn rising from within. When you reach that state, you understand that there's no need to escape this world. The goal was never to transcend humanity. It was to sanctify it, to bring the sacred back into the simple, to remember that washing a dish, smiling at a stranger, or forgiving yourself are all acts of light. And that's the secret the code was always whispering. Divinity isn't a place you go. It's the way you exist when you remember who you are. So the next time you close your eyes, don't look for energy, listen to it. It's already speaking through the pulse in your chest, through the rhythm of your breath, through the silence between your thoughts. Let that silence be your teacher. Let the invisible guide your visible steps. And when the world feels heavy again, as it inevitably will just come back to that point in the center of your chest, where the breath begins. Because that's where the universe is born again and again through you. You are not separate from the source. You are the source, remembering itself in motion. That's the invisible energy code. And now you carry it within you, forever,